Go.
What episode is this?
Well, I think this would be official 9th episode, but we didn't release one because it was shit. So this is the 8th episode, I think.
So it's not the official 9th episode?
No.
It's the official 8th episode.
Yeah.
So the answer is 8.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, it's
official if
unreleased.
It's not. It's unofficial.
Whatever.
Welcome to the goddamn 8th episode. Enjoy our rants about whatever the fuck we rant about.
Yeah, angry. And Jake's so angry right off the bat.
I'm not angry.
Sound angry
I
to me.
hate you.
Oh.
Looks like they messed up this ad.
Yeah?
We did.
Yeah. See, under 175, under 250, under 250,
Whatever.
and it shows 297 when it's like under 250. So.
Wow.
Is that a month though?
Oh my god.
Back this day.
So, are we gonna
Yeah.
Huh.
get going
That is
here?
weird.
Mm-hmm.
What did we eat today? What can we get sponsored? You'll play.
Tell them, I think. Well, Charles eating cake. It was like chocolate cake. Charles, what
What kind of cake was that?
brand?
I forgot. I don't remember.
I don't remember brand. It's got to be like Betty Crocker or some shit, right?
What?
Probably.
Betty Crocker's like the cheap instant cake whore who makes all the... She's like, I'll make you a cake, I'll suck your dick for 27 cents.
We have a lot of Betty Crocker.
Yeah, I assume it's Betty
I'm
Crocker.
gonna go with Betty Crocker.
We don't actually have that many Betty Crocker cakes.
Says the cake man. Actually, Betty Crocker
We have
cake.
Duncan Hines. What is this one? Oh, that's Pike.
Oh my god.
I think it's Duncan Hines.
Duncan Hines.
So,
It's Duncan Hines. It's not Betty Crocker. It's Duncan.
all right, it's Duncan Hines. Excellent. Excellent.
I'm hungry.
So, anyway, the poop is still there. This is an update. The poop's still hanging on the sidewalk.
Of course.
I didn't know it'd be this long that it
I
lasted.
make muffins.
You're gonna fucking make muffins
Muffins are good.
while we're doing the podcast?
I always do stuff while doing the podcast.
Not for like 20, 30 minutes.
I just put it in the fucking oven.
Yeah.
Which is what you do when you make fucking.
Alright,
chicken.
let's
It's the same shit.
ask. Well, I only say that because the mic is harder to pick you up over there, especially when you're quiet in the early parts of the podcast, before you get that blood riled up for some fucking reason.
I can fucking hear.
Spencer's gonna go through the subway, and then someone's gonna be talking really loud next to him.
He won't be able to hear it.
Mhm.
He won't be able to understand exactly what Jake says. Spencer, by the way, when you listen to this, tell us about the audio levels. I know I'm probably good because I'm right next to the mic and I give a shit. Charles is probably not so great all the time. It's just because he's a soft talker. But Jake definitely probably is the worst because he really doesn't give a shit about the microphone. But Spencer, when you hear this, tell us, give us some feedback, and yeah. So, who wants to start with the round of questions?
It doesn't matter to me.
Who started last time?
I don't know.
We don't keep
We
track
never
of
keep
that.
track. We always ask, and we never know.
Yeah.
I always ask. You guys, and then you guys are always like, I
I don't
fucking know, I
We
fucking
never
know.
keep track. Same shit.
All right,
We just-
Charles, you start.
Okay.
So you get your one question out of the way, then you can think about the other one you forgot.
What's the most humane way to kill someone who doesn't know it's coming?
A gunshot to the back of the head, like Mice and Men.
Mm.
Damn, it's pretty good success rate too. 'Cause, what would you say?
Well, probably something in their sleep. So. Yeah.
Something in their sleep.
It could be anything.
Yeah.
As long as they're sleeping, I don't give a fuck.
Well, I guess you like
Then
get that
they
thing.
like finish the day. Everything they had planned to do for that day is done.
Oh, you're looking past the fact of just the moment. That you're thinking like feeling of accomplishment. So you're waiting for them to have a good day, and then you're like, that's weird. You with me on this one, Jake?
Well,
I don't know, man.
I'm asking about the most humane way.
I'd be down there just execute them with an axe.
I don't think that's humane at all.
Why? Just cut their fucking head off. They're dead. They're dead as fuck.
I don't think.
Plus, it's more fun.
I don't think
Well,
fun.
and they don't know
fun
it's
is.
coming.
Exactly.
So,
It
but-
doesn't fucking matter. didn't feel shit.
How? Like, okay, what's the scenario?
So what, you just ambush him from behind with an axe?
Yes.
Well, he's not gonna die on the first hit. He's not gonna be dead on the
Well, I mean,
first
it was
hit.
like a big
No.
like cleaver, like fucking one swing, fucking cut their head off.
You need a lot of strength.
I'm pretty
for
sure
that.
there's no way like anyone really has ever cut anyone's head off in one
I've
fell
been watching
swoop.
too many movies.
Unless you're like a weeb and you're like got like this fucking weakest neck, maybe like a fucking kid, like the sharpest
I never
katana.
said it wasn't a child. To be fair.
That's true, but you said axe. I don't think anyone's axe head can get lopped off with one fell swoop,
It'll be fun.
unless it's a fucking kid. But that's pretty
I'm
fucked.
talking humane, not fun.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
talking fun. You said what's the best way, and I said
No.
No, he said the best humane way
right.
of them
Well,
for the
it's-
person.
It's humane, but also I get to have fun.
So, well,
So
here's
that makes it
here's
the
my
best.
take on the humane thing. On the humane thing, right? Humane is also you want results that can be duplicated without much wiggle room as to things that can go wrong, right? Because if you accidentally fucking hit the guy like and get his arm real bad, which is right there, right next to the fucking neck that you're trying to get at, I'd say that's way less humane because you can't replicate the results that you want
It
to
would have to
kill
be
him
an
every
instant
time.
death for
Exactly.
anything, right?
Right.
And there's a huge margin for error for the fucking axe or any weapon like that.
But it'd be so much fun.
It doesn't have anything to do with it.
I think it does. Having fun is part of it being the best.
Of it being humane?
No.
In fact, if you want it to be humane, you don't hire someone that wants it to be fun. The executioner that thinks it's fun.
I think you're right there.
So, looks like you talked yourself out of a job. You don't only not get to kill him with an axe, you don't get to kill him with any sort of a reliable weapon.
Yeah, you don't go to Jake for a humane kill.
Nope, that's right.
You go to him for a bloody, messy, like, torture killing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what? So your thoughts in their sleep after they did something good that day?
Yeah, like slit their throat in their sleep or something like that, you know.
What about like if it's case by case, like if it's get junky, you get them high,
Vegetable oil.
and like overdoses. It's in there,
Oh, it's way back here.
Just search for it.
but yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
A junkie would want to get high, I guess. So
Yeah, but I'm talking about like a catch-all, so.
just everybody. I would say a gunshot to the back of the head,
Mm-hmm.
just really quick. I think that's the most efficient way to just.
Yeah.
Especially since it's the fastest way to set up and pretty stealthy, considering like axe options and shit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a good answer.
So we have a lot of canola oil, but we only have like a little bit of olive oil. I don't want to waste the olive oil.
Just use the canola oil.
That's what I'm doing.
Why would you?
Lawrence wants to use the olive oil in small amounts anyway.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to waste it.
Yeah, well, there's not even. I don't think there's enough olive oil anyway. For the purposes. Anyway. So what's your thought? The gunshot? Is that what you're gonna say? Or you thought in your sleep?
He's
Yeah.
He's doing
Yeah.
cut throat in the sleep.
No, we didn't say cut the throat.
That's what he said.
I thought you said anything in their sleep.
Well, it's just an example, so.
Yeah. I still don't think there's still a chance you wake up when you fucking get your throat cut.
Mm-hmm.
Like me, I'm a light sleeper. I'd be like, I mean, I'd die pretty quick, but it wouldn't.
Okay. Who's next?
Jake,
Yeah, Jake. I think it goes that way.
Is that the way it goes?
we've clockwise, right? Clockwise,
I think
boys.
so.
I think we are.
We're not. Yeah.
Okay. If you
Project, Jake. Project.
Project. Fucking speak loud.
um,
You're not any louder.
well, I was thinking of a question.
Oh my God, you weren't thinking of a question the whole time Charles was doing it.
I was trying to think of
What is
answers.
running through your mind? Is just like a fucking like
I was
elevator.
thinking of answers to
He's
Charles's
thinking of
question,
muffins.
and I was
That's
thinking
right.
about making my goddamn muffin.
It's just elevator music the rest of the time.
Fuck you.
When he's thinking, when there's food around, it's just food.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go. You want me to go while you still piece together a question? Because I don't want you to be like, "What's your favorite color?"
What's your favorite muffin?
I was
Just
like, and then you just think in your mind like, "Those fucking idiots." That's a really good question. They probably fucking think that.
That's right.
Come on, let's think of something. Come on, Jake, go. You're on the spot here. It's a talent show. You signed up because your fucking friends are in the show. You didn't realize that you actually had to go up on stage. And now you have to fucking show us your talent, but it's a question.
I don't have a fucking talent.
That's exactly why.
Talentless.
Fucking show. Give us a question. You're the Riddler. And you have to fucking come up with a thing or Batman's gonna laugh at you.
You don't want Batman to
You wouldn't want to laugh because he doesn't ever laugh at you. Or anyone, really.
He's too dark.
Yeah. But he's gonna laugh at you and that'll be your fucking end.
It's great though. You can instantly tell when it's a Batman-related thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's because
fucking
it's
like
dark.
that trailer or something.
It's dark and rainy. Looks like
It's the
fucking...
bat.
Oh, there's a bunch of guys in masks
Yeah,
coming out of their
they're
government
Hold
truck.
in the darkness. It's the bat. And then it was the bat.
It was the bat.
It was the bat.
We all agreed and it was.
It was.
But anyway, what's your question? Don't deflect.
No, I'm not deflecting.
Charles deflecting.
I'm thinking.
You're buying this son of a bitch time, Charles.
Not really. It's distracting him too.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about shit, because I'm thinking about fucking what you guys are talking about.
Okay, let's give you like 10 seconds of silence.
No.
Respect. 10 seconds of respect for Jake that couldn't think of a fucking
Or
idea.
is it like this? What?
If you could replace your arm.
What is that?
I don't know.
That's like a. That seems like a pretty gang.
If you could replace your arm with any like sports thing, like a golf club or like a tennis racket or something like that, what would you replace your arm with?
A sports, like
Yeah,
a tool,
like a hockey.
like a fucking lacrosse stick.
Yeah, that would count. Yeah, anything like that.
Well, okay. You want to handle this one first, Charles?
All right, let's just go through our options here. So.
Okay, well he said if, so no. You could just not do it.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to do that one.
Uh-huh.
You got lacrosse.
Well, we're gonna assume that we have.
Yeah,
to
we're gonna
let's
assume
figure
that
it
it's like you have to get some shit.
That's what you gotta do.
Lacrosse,
Lacrosse
Ski
you could like
pole.
scoop shit up with.
I guess.
That'd be cool.
Well, with the hockey,
Hockey, you can't really do anything with it. It's like a fucking like it's a stick.
it's a good whacker. Have you ever whacked
Tennis or
someone?
badminton.
You
You
can
have
also
the
whack
net.
with a fucking.
Well, then,
lacrosse stick.
like, is that just the fucking? You wouldn't be able to use your fuck. It's just shitty, like a
Yeah,
tiny
stiff
little
things.
stubby arm.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you'd be
you
able
think
to
it-
hold something with it.
Are we
that's the
talking
thing.
right at the end? Like it's
Well,
just
okay.
cut off your arm?
Matt, like what point on your arm? Below the elbow,
let's
above
say-
the elbow,
let's
at the
say-
shoulder?
Yeah,
Let's say if it's a long implement, like a lacrosse stick or like a.
That'd be
golf club,
unwieldy.
It's the whole arm.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like a tennis racket, then it can be like from your elbow.
Oh,
Like at the elbow, right
yeah,
here.
so that way it kind of is to be more maneuverable, but like just look at the same reach.
Then I'd be biased towards the shorter one.
yeah, me. Well, I mean, I'd probably be biased
I
to
like
the shorter
elbows.
ones anyway.
I like having
Having
an
an
elbow.
elbow would be a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Like a fucking cricket bat for an arm.
Just a
regular
pool
baseball
cue.
bat.
Well, the problem is like you
Fuck
could.
you! That's a good one.
That'd be really shitty.
Just drag it on the ground behind you.
You could never think about it, you could never fucking chalk it because it's so far away from you.
Yeah.
You could never chalk the
Hey,
tip
can
of
you
your
check my
fucking. Just, can you fucking chalk me, man?
And then how you do it, like you just push your body forward when you're playing pool.
Oh, Jake, is that the fucking peel? Is that the blueberry ones?
Yes.
The one with the tin. It's the ration can of weird little blueberries.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, what brand is this? By the way.
Why do you care so much?
Oh, Charles, if any of these people hear us.
Betty Crocker.
Betty Crocker.
Betty Crocker.
Betty Crocker. All right. So what you said? What do you have a certain sports equipment you have in mind here that you would want?
I was thinking tennis racket.
Tennis racket.
Mm-hmm.
This is really like right past the elbow, where
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Are we getting half berries?
Uh-oh.
Sounds like half berries.
Half berries. It's like somebody made a spill.
Uh-oh, no berries, muffins.
Uh-oh, no berries. I don't know.
No, it's I dripped the juice on the rag.
That's fine, I guess.
It's not a big deal. It's just
Yeah. So,
What other sports?
I mean,
Why did I
baseball.
say, oh shit. because it wasn't a big deal.
I
Baseball's.
guess with the gloves are probably.
Then you gotta keep your wrist, which is another like.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
Good.
What happens? What is that? Handball.
What?
Handball.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Then you don't need to fucking get rid of your arm. You just put a glove over your hand.
That'd be cool. I'd be down for that.
I don't know how that would work though.
You
we're
just
really
have
like
a
a
glove
fake-
for a hand.
Like a robot hand, or you just take off the glove and there's no fucking hand.
Where'd my hand?
What the fuck?
And it's still like wiggling around.
Yeah. I guess that.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that.
Yeah. How about what other sports here? What is fucking rugby? You just keep your fucking hand. Rugby.
Curling.
Curling.
Just have the big broom.
I like
Oh, cornhole league. There's
Yeah.
American Cornhole League. Or just
What would you get to extend your... What would you have on your arm?
nothing. Therefore, you already have your sports equipment. Therefore, it's a
It has to be
loophole.
sports equipment.
Okay, he's putting the foot down. He's putting the fucking foot
You
down.
can't just be like, oh, my hand is my sports equipment. No, fuck you.
You know what?
You have to replace
You
your
what?
hand
You
with
could
something.
thumb war, and then just get a fake thumb.
There's a giant thumb.
It's not. Would you really call that equipment though?
I wouldn't even
Well,
call it
what would you?
sport.
What would you? Here's the thing. Anything is a sport, though.
No, it's not.
With thumb wars have some legitimacy because there is strength and technique involved. So it could.
Go fuck yourself. It doesn't count.
Okay, all right. What about arm wrestling? Is that a sport?
Doesn't count for this.
All right.
He thinks it's a sport.
He thinks it's a sport. So does that mean you think arm wrestling is a sport? It's a fucking sport. People do it. It's competitive.
I don't know.
It is competitive.
It is
yes.
competitive. So same thing with thumb war.
It's like, I don't know.
Thumb war. There's a lot of finesse
Thumb
and
war
technique to it.
Is like a children's game though. So. it
So is
doesn't have,
everything
like-
else.
Yeah, but it's like
How about basketball?
people don't bet money at thumb wars.
Basketball? I don't know, sports equipment. You have to be black.
You just replace your hand with a black hand. That's my sports equipment.
That'd be pretty cool, actually.
Just like
The better,
Every time it
it'd
goes
be
just
better.
right in
Yeah,
the
just
net.
like fucking nothing but net every time when I shoot with this hand. Except the only the thing is, I would want is like, I hope they're kind of relatively the same size. But then Jake
Just
would be
one
like,
really big
I want the biggest fucking hand you can put on me.
I would. Give me one big fucking black hand and it's
Well, the problem is,
my pimp hand.
when you're jerking off, would you use your pimp hand?
No, God, no.
You wouldn't even think it. Would you even touch yourself down there with your pimp hand?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah? I'd be like, this is weird.
yeah.
Okay. Alright, that's
Fishing
That's-
porn. Fishing a sport, Jake.
I take fishing.
Hunting.
You just play it with a fucking rifle.
well, it could be a crossbow.
What the fuck is on
Wait a minute. It'd be a fucking crossbow.
You mean those arm-mounted crossbows?
It would be sick, because you just replace your forearm with the crossbow, and then
That
you
would
just
be
like
pretty
pointed
cool.
at people. You're like, fuck you, and then then you'd have to reload for like 20 minutes, because
Yeah.
you only got one hand. You're like, eh.
Crank it.
Oh, you can just crank it.
Yeah.
What other shit? Sports,
Swimming.
swimming. That doesn't count though. It's not sports equipment. Like Jake would be pissed.
The foam noodles.
No, the fucking swim cap is like melded to your head. Oh wait, no, it's only arm.
Yeah. The
uh,
diving board.
the fucking diving board arm. Jump off me, boys.
Boing.
Would you enjoy that, Jake?
No.
The problem is there's no part of the human body that's.
Surfing. Get a fucking surfboard.
It's not an arm thing. You're not.
No, I know, but it's neither is a diving board.
Are we just fucking throw? Okay.
We're taking pot shots.
I think the coolest one would be the crossbow, and the lamest one would be the fucking surfboard. Not because it isn't cool to have a. It's just how big it would be. You wouldn't be able to do
It'd be
anything.
as big as your body.
Yeah.
Probably bigger because like the aren't like super surfboards or whatever.
Or you could like one of those longboards.
Yeah, huge.
Canoe. Just have a.
A canoe arm,
An entire canoe.
and then Jake
You
can
just
have.
like go in the water and then just like try and sink, but your arm is like fucking float to the top. Oh shit!
And then Jake, you could get the
Someone
fucking
else could
canoe.
ride it.
You could get the canoe as an arm, then I could get the paddle as an arm, and then we'd have to go together.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'd ride in my arm.
Yeah. Well, you'd be stuck on one end because your arm would be like.
Yeah. You'd have to be like always stuck sitting in yourself. In your arm.
Yeah. Sitting on your fucking, it's like your hands under your ass.
Yeah.
Even like another element is if you could feel what your fucking piece of equipment felt.
Uh-huh.
Fucking
Pole jump.
That's only useful in like one or two situations. Like outrun the cops and do that weird. You know how they do that weird like stridey run that they do? The hop. So you have to be like fucking.
Just
That's
launch over a
yeah.
fence or
fuck you.
into the second story of a building.
Gotta save those kids. They're burning exactly right there in the second story. Are you just eating it?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell?
Are you surprised?
It's good.
That's not a muffin.
It will be.
No, not at this rate.
Well, that part won't be.
So basically, Spencer, since you're probably the only one listening to this, Jake made muffin mix it together, and now he's just eating the batter.
That's leftover batter.
Oh.
This is just after I poured it into.
Okay, I
the
thought you were just eating the whole batter. He's still eating a lot of batter, though. There's like a good amount.
Yeah, this doesn't look. Did you make mini muffins? Because like usually you overfill them.
I think they're gonna overflow today.
All right. Anyway, I'll go to my question. Like this can now I added this can be supernatural as well, or not real official things for Charles and I guess for Jake too. But are there any jobs that you won't ever do, but you feel like you would be good at? Like what, you're like, oh, I'd be proficient at this, but I don't want to go through 8 years of training, or it's just I was never born, or it's just I'm too late, or just, it's not my main interest, but I'm still really interested in it.
Well, I think that you personally, would be a good philosopher if
Good philosophy.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun. We can also say things about each other too.
Because it's hard to think about myself, but you'd be one of the
Good philosopher.
philosophers. Like,
I could live the life.
yeah, doing like
what-
the weird shit that the Greek philosophers did. Like
What are you talking about? Like in Greek philosophy times?
that too.
Like one of the first philosophers?
But like
I live that life just walking around like, hey man, that guy's super fucking smart. And I just like,
Everybody listen to him.
look, he's hardly got any clothes and he smells like shit.
Exactly.
You
But,
know what's going on.
let's gather around and see what he's saying.
He's one of our greats. He teaches us
I'll
to.
teach it off my fucking words for.
He teaches us to be free, but he can't feed himself because he has no real skills.
Yeah.
I could live that life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anything for you that comes to mind? So for you, I was thinking.
I was thinking like apothecary.
I was thinking apothecary or weird animal experiments. They say we're like, like World War II times when they're just fucking around.
Oh yeah.
Especially the Japanese, how they were really terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the name of the camp, but you know the camp.
Yeah, I know the camp.
And, lots of German experiments and stuff. What,
Yeah, like the old psychology experiments, you can't even do
that
anymore.
weren't limited by morals and ethics and stuff.
Yeah.
So I figure you do well at that, not because you're a fucking like racist piece of shit, but because you'd be like, all right, let's see. You'd be able to do it without,
From a scientific standpoint.
Yeah, from a scientific standpoint, you would understand the how important it is or whatever to help understand the shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would think of you.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
And I guess just to make Jake happy, you have the body of an executioner in the Middle Ages.
I take that.
Wear the hood.
Yeah, wear the hood. I mean, you're like, you never see like a fucking like fit execution. It's always like this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have the temperament for it too. You'd be like, all right, what are your last words? None,
And
all
then
right.
just cut him off right in the half.
Fuck it, or like hang him or whatever you do.
Yeah.
I definitely want to use that.
And the thing is, like, everyone's like, who's the execution? But they know who it is 'cause it's
Yeah.
fucking Jake.
Of course it is.
You got a hood on your head for privacy, but we know who it is. We
Yeah.
fucking know who it is.
No one else looks like that. That beard just pokes out.
I feel like you have to shave your entire face and your head.
Why?
I feel like that's more executionary.
Well, I'm wearing the hood. Who gives a fuck? You can't see me.
Eh. I don't see that hair on an executioner.
No.
You can't even
yeah.
fucking see.
I mean, like
That's
an all
the point
bald
of the hood.
executioner it seems more.
bald execution just seems more like they don't give a fuck.
It's cliche.
Yeah, like you look like you take care of your hair there. You can keep the fucking beard, but I mean, yeah, you need to get rid of the hair if you're gonna be an executioner.
No.
That's the first step that you mean business. If you're ready to execute your own hair, you're ready to fucking kill anyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys think
Like Plague Doctor too. I can see myself like
like a
doing, like,
fucking witch doctor, plague doctor?
oh, bring in the leeches. have this good smelling.
And then people will be like, why do we do this? Like, it's just the way it's done. And then you just put, like, leeches on them or spray them with some fucking, like, fragrance. Like, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You just die. I do what I could. It would be on saving.
It's like, I was told, and then you just be like, you know, just think to yourself, it never works, but this is what I've been taught.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, maybe we should wash our hands. I don't know, it was like a lot of medieval shit fits for both of you. Because you're both kind of fucking twisted in those ways.
Yeah. Well, you think you'd be good in like a centurion, or like just in an old time army?
I think, honestly, I would do pretty well because the thing is, like old, like Roman military service would be, it's long. And it's, years and decades, right?
Yep.
So it gives you a purpose for all that
And
time.
it's pretty much mandatory for all
And it's
men.
mandatory, and you get a sweet payoff at the end. Plus, as soon as you're like able-bodied, if you want to go into it, you go into it type deal.
Yeah.
So, if I was in it, yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably do pretty well there.
Yeah, that's what I think. So it's so much easier to come up with stuff for everyone else than for yourself.
Well, you just keep going at it. What about Jake? Because we only gave him executioner. I could see you as a magistrate of some fucking lands.
I could see him, like a duke, just in
Yeah.
his.
Just sitting there.
Mm-hmm. He's got this pet because he's one of the people that can afford to feed a pet.
Yeah.
Plus, you also have the schlubbiness of a dude. Like, this guy's fucking, he's got some money.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be like, look at him. He's not famished and starving.
And he,
I can
like, you
afford
go
to
to
feed
his
servants.
house and he's just dancing in the backyard
Yeah.
doing nothing.
Ooh. Eating
Really
like
weird, like
meat.
got
Uh-huh.
Go,
And you've
what-
got your
what
private
would-
bard playing a song for
Well,
you.
I feel like if he was concerned, like, to his own lands, he'd be, like, really nice and everything.
Mhm.
But if he was in a council that governed other lands, if they weren't his lands, he'd be fucking so cruel.
Yeah.
Because it's like, they're not my people.
They're not
but
my people.
people would call him out on it, and he's like,
They're not my people.
they're not my people. It's like, I think they should give up their firstborn children, but not my kingdom, as we're the most important, or
That's
whatever.
right, we are.
Under this
Because I
rule.
rule here. Yeah.
Everyone would fucking hate you.
Yeah.
It's not my people.
Not your people.
Not my people. That's what I care about.
And then
Fuck everybody else.
your carriage will mysteriously disappear.
Yeah, or
on the
you
way
get
back
fucking,
home.
they got stabbed. How could fucking Duke Gross get stabbed? He got
Gotta
stabbed.
bring him leeches so that he survives.
Fucking leech the wound, leech the stab wound.
Suck out more blood.
Yeah.
Why?
To put so many leeches, it
Yeah, you
plugs
gotta
up
drain
the
out the
fucking wood.
poison from whatever
Yeah.
you put on it, you know?
There was no poison.
It was just a blade, and I'm already dead.
I think as an old man, I think you'd do good if you were a sailor at one point.
I think you'd be good as a sailor.
I could see that. In
Why
both
would
of us.
we could both be sailors then?
Mm-hmm. I could not be a sailor.
No.
No, you could not.
What like?
You
Yeah.
can't be a guy on a boat. Like this is beginning.
No, you would- nope, no.
Throw up on the side.
All right,
Yeah.
Charles. We need to go we need to walk. Okay, we know you're not going on the boat, but we need you to help us load up supplies to the boat on the wobbly dock.
Oh no.
He wouldn't even make it to the wobbly dock.
Couldn't lift the supplies.
Well, I mean, if he could, like, it's just like one little grain pouch. He's like, all right, take it to the fuck, and then we just like watch him, and he'd be like wobbling, and he'd throw up, like 3 feet from the shore. Be like, Charles, what the fuck is this? He wasn't meant for life on the sea.
I'm a landlubber.
Jake, you have a good temperament for public transportation.
Public transportation.
I say that because in your young youth years, you could be like a fucking like fighter pilot, or you could be like a, like some hot shot fucking guy.
Yeah.
And then in the later years, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm bus driver now," or I run the community bus line from here to San Diego.
He could be a conductor on a train.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yep. Where you transition from that hot shot lifestyle to a more, I got a kid and a wife.
I don't see him because they live in Sacramento,
Yeah.
but
They know I love them, and if she ever cheats on me, I swear to God.
I'll kill him, man. I know how and I'd do it. It doesn't even have to be the man she cheated on me, but I'd kill him.
I'd find someone in the same area, same race
I
even.
just become a serial killer. I just start killing people who are the last people on my bus. Like,
Yeah.
we're at the end of the line, bitch.
That's like the worst fucking serial movie plot. Like fucking.
yeah.
That's like that's a fucking great B movie.
End of the right
End
line.
of the fucking line.
Yeah, it starts with the guy who's like falling asleep on the bus, and then he wakes up and he's the last one on.
And it makes it even more tragic because he just got off the phone with his mates, and they were setting up a sort of get together.
What?
No, they're dead.
Now he's dead.
No, he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a dead man now.
The rule is you never kill anyone. If there are 2 of them, you let them go. But if there's 1.
Because it reminds me of how alone I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was one time there was a dead hobo on the bus, and then someone else that was alive, so it counted that you could kill them.
Yes. Because they weren't really there.
Yeah.
That was just one person.
Yeah. A person and a
I
corpse.
mean, honestly, like, even if it was a live hobo, it's still just one person. I don't fucking count that with hobos.
Do you count hobos, homeless
no.
people?
They're not people.
Okay.
They're hobos.
All right.
That's why they call them hobos, not people.
What does hobo stand for?
I don't know. Dead.
Okay.
What was the question?
If you were to,
Think about something for yourself.
as a job that you would never really do because of whatever constraints.
I gotcha. I remember that.
Yeah, okay. Now it's time to think about ourselves. Think about a job that you would be really good at that you're not going to do.
Town drunk.
That's not a job.
It is in Ireland.
They take it very seriously over there.
That's right. It's a bad job.
A lot of competition.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition. I don't think it's going to be easy for you to get that job, Jake. You think you're
But
cut
it's a
out
job
for
I
it?
couldn't do.
It's like you applied for like Town Idiot one time, and there was a lot of fucking stiff competition. He couldn't hack it.
It's like in that Family Guy episode when like Peter tries to redo this new society after the apocalypse, whatever, the whole thing, and then there's like this guy's got a doctor's. Oh, we really need a doctor. Well, you got to pull your job out of the hat, and he pulls it out. He's like, "You got village idiot." It's like then you just got to piss yourself and do dances in the middle of town square. What? No, but I'm a fucking doctor.
Nope.
You're village idiot now.
That's right. So what do you see, Charles? If you look in the fucking scope, if you had some intensive training, what could you do? What about you, Jake? And not fucking town drunk. Like an actual job.
Yeah, Matt.
Something that pays and contributes.
Be a court jester.
I don't think you trained for that.
No, but it'd be fun.
Okay.
I'm court jester.
Then you'd be that person that's like, you'd be the fool that speaks truths to their faces, but they don't see it because you're the fool.
Yeah. I get them to think about.
Still fucking edgy over here.
Get them to think about the real problem. But they don't even know it.
Oh my god, they don't even know it because you're a fool.
They don't think about how they're laying with their wives.
And then you say it, I laid with your wife, like in front of them, it's making it a rhyme, and they're just laughing at
But
you.
I did.
Yeah. All right, what?
And the wife's just blushing at you because she knows.
She knows.
She fucking knows.
She's the only one that truly gets
Ugh.
that joke.
Ugh. I'm only saying ugh because in the time of gestures, could you imagine hygiene?
Of course not.
Just don't imagine it. Anyway,
There's a stain. That's
Charles fucking.
Oh, what?
Fucking think of an idea. Jay came up with one. It's actually pretty legitimate. Anything.
I think like the what are they called?
What? We're a pretty broad spectrum here, Bob. I can whatever.
No, were they priests? I don't know.
Priests?
The ones that had the handwritten books, because
Like monks
yeah,
that wrote books?
not the ones that wrote books. Like that like kept all
Compile?
the collections.
Like a librarian type thing?
Yeah, except it was religious. I can't remember what.
Like a religious librarian? Why are you guys going all like medieval and shit? It's like back in the day.
Well, because you said that specifically because of the times.
Anything.
Also, like an architect or something like that. I can see myself.
Okay.
Into, but
Architect. That's viable for today as well. How about you, Jake? How about a modern job? He's lying face down in my bed.
Oh yeah, and what was it? Going into that advertising, like, because like you need to know group how group people think.
What are you talking about? Like,
how you manipulate your brand to like get people to.
it's like one of those dudes that's on the board who's like, I think we could run this commercial.
No, that's not going to be popular with our target audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
One fat cat's up on the board that says yes or no. Okay. How about you, Jake?
Optometrist.
All right. Well, I mean, we know, but you tell us a little bit more about optometrist. We know what the job is. Tell them why. Tell us why.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
You know the real reason.
You know the real reason.
I don't, actually. I just think it'd be cool.
Well, the real reason here.
It's because he'd meet people with bad eyesight.
Yeah. No, I think it's because there's a lot of old people
Yep.
that have bad eyes.
I was thinking specifically about giving kids their glasses, but I like old people too.
Yeah. You could be the bringer of light to all ages.
And then there's that one guy who's not sure if he needs glasses. He's like, "Do I need glasses?"
And he's like, "How the fuck?" And then you'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with how? This is how you see life, like 1 or 2," and it's like really blurry, and he's never seen anything. He doesn't even know that there's he doesn't even know that there's text because he can't read any text.
I thought I was just illiterate.
Yeah. So,
Oh, you're just fucking blind.
how the fuck? How'd you get? I drove here.
No!
Okay, I guess. Well, there's a lot of jobs that I think I could do, but I think I was thinking one that I would like probably is veterinarian. Mm-hmm. So I'm good with the animal. and I like touching and petting the doggy or just. I don't know if I don't really like big animals, like I don't want to be like a livestock vet. You know what I mean?
No.
For like a big old cow.
Well, what about for one that's like limited by being born in a time frame? Because Jake and I did like one that was medieval or older. You know.
Limited in time frame?
Yeah, like something you can't do because it's not a
I
job
was
anymore.
I was thinking about this. I forgot I had one. Fuck.
Why are you in the bed?
Yeah, why? He's just like, he's not just in the bed, he's like posing in the bed. Like, been like,
Cozy.
his arm against his face.
I could see Lawrence as like one of those people from like the 50s where like they were like old, like they were almost all women. Literally, he would like transfer your call.
In the big switchboard thing?
And he was like push.
Why? I know that's cool and everything, but why is it me?
I can see Lawrence being the one guy that works there, and all the other women are like, oh my god, he's so handsome. And then you're just like, I'm just gonna switch this call, ma'am. And then we're gonna like be an operator.
I mean, well, that'd be great, because then you'd probably get comments from other men, like on the phone, who's like, wait a minute, you're a man? It's like, yeah. I was like, oh, thank God. Because it's like the era of when it's like, fucking women are so dumb. Like, that era.
I never get my right call.
Yeah. It's like, oh, thank God, I'm going to get this transferred
Let me
well.
just transfer you here real quick, sir.
It's like, all right, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Finally, someone
Fucking, that's right. Oh, I could do, how about, like old-timey newspapers, like flashbulb photography, and then like getting the scoop.
Oh yeah.
I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think that's more of I like to play the role than actually be good at it. But I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
So I gotta get the scoop. They'd be like the, you know, the.
Uh-huh. And you'd have your little flip pad.
Yeah, my little fucking flip pad, and I'd be like writing down notes. Like, so you're saying that on July 31st. Huh. Interesting. So you taking notes? No, that's all I need. Thank you, detective. So that'd be cool. Either that or if I was in the military, I think I'd do well. If I was like drafted or some shit, I'd be do okay. Yeah. Do okay. Or if I'm gonna go medieval job, because since just for completion's sake, I'd be a knight or a squire. Tell me you don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd have your horse and you'd always be like up all like.
Well, of course, because it's like 50% of you, like that's all you have is like your horse and your armor, right?
Uh-huh.
And your honor, and then I would.
You'd be like buying food and then you like get your horse the good stuff and then just eat oatmeal.
That's what I would do. Yeah, I would fucking love, like if that was my animal and I needed, I'd always be like, "Yo, good horsey." You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I could understand. What was it like? Alexander the Great had his own horse that he.
Yeah.
What he lost it or something, or what happened?
I can't remember.
It was something, but he was really
Yeah,
attached to his
yeah.
horse. So I'd probably be like that with my horse.
Mm-hmm.
So like, Buttercup, where are you? Like whistle and it'd come up, like, let's ride.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah. Probably like my horse more than my squire. You'd be an old-timey dentist, Jake. Get in there. Put a leech on there too.
Open your fucking mouth, bitch. Let me see them horse teeth.
It's the problem back
Pearly
then.
White's paid my rent this week.
They're not pearly whites back then. They're all. I thought.
Pulling them out.
Oh, I thought we were talking. I was talking medieval dentist.
Okay.
Oh, you could be a dentist today.
Either way, that works.
I feel like there's.
Back in the day, it would have been a dentist and a barber.
That's both.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was like dentist, barber, and butcher wasn't it all the same job? I think those three were like the
What's the third one?
butcher, I think.
Oh, I don't think butcher.
Mm. There were surgeons and like barbers, but
I don't think.
No.
Yeah, it was surgeons and
It's-
barbers, right? I don't think dentistry
Yeah.
fell under its own specific
I
practice
think it
back
fell
then.
under surgery.
I don't think. Yeah, I think it was more like you
Yeah.
just here's a doc, he'll do whatever the fuck.
It's barber and doctor. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
That's why in Flapjack there's Dr. Barber.
Okay.
He's got
All right.
big old hair lip.
Whose question is next? Charles's question is next.
Okay.
What are my thing be done?
Jake, you're the one that set the timer.
Did you set a timer?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Just fucking smirk at me like you got a plan. You think it could work? I don't know. There's not a big chance, but we're going all in anyway.
Put all the chips in the middle.
Fucking. Except this time, instead of us succeeding, well, we don't know this yet, but we'll fail horribly. Don't worry. There's another timeline.
What's your favorite movie cliche?
Ooh. That's fucking hard, man. There's a lot
When
of
two
them.
people hate each other and then they fall in love at the end.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I expect that from you, Jake.
I love that one too.
I know!
Oh, it's so
I
good.
love it so much.
They're just like in the beginning, they just fucking hate
They
each
fucking
other.
hate their fucking pets. Like, it's like,
But they love each other from the start.
I know they do! They know! They knew they loved each other, but they wouldn't admit it.
That's right.
It's like the fucking, it's just Benedict and what's his name? Beatrice. It's like I think call it that. It's like Benedict
I don't know
and
those
Beatrice.
characters.
They're from What You Do About Nothing.
Oh, I should probably know those characters.
Yeah, it's the Shakespeare thing.
Yeah.
That's where like people are like, oh, that's fucking where it started.
Alright.
Yeah, it's Benedict and Beatrice thing.
That's a good one. I do like that. Let's gather a team, and then there's that one last guy who's
That
kind of a
also
pain
might
in
be
the
my
ass.
favorite. Or like
Oh,
people
yeah,
come
that's
from,
a
like,
really
different
good one.
backgrounds
Yeah.
and have to figure something out together. That's why I like that really shitty B movie. What was it, Nine Alive or Nine Dead? I think it was.
I don't.
I don't remember this.
It was a really shitty B movie, but it was like it was really bad.
Speaking of shitty movies, we need to watch those fucking detective movies. Remember?
Oh
Yeah, we
yeah.
bought like 100
You
of
still
them.
have them?
They should be some around here. Anyway. So I like that, and then they like I don't know. They all had like some shared military service. Either that, like they have to find the last guy, and he's hard to find. Like he lives off the grid, and he like shoots at him when they first show up or something. Either that, or like he's really hard to convince, and he says no, but he comes back in their time of need. I like that. It's like he's a hard ass, but he loves us. He loves us more than anything because we were part of his unit.
Yeah. I like the movies where you're seeing it from the main character's point of view, and he's going, or he's like insane, or he's going insane, or something's not right with his mind. Like you can't tell whether it's real or a dream.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I really like. I don't know. There's a lot of movie cliches I like. I really like the fucking. My favorite. One of my favorites is the guy who everyone thinks is a fool,
Yeah.
and he's a fucking idiot. But you know, like, I like this guy's so dumb, but in the end he knew everything, and he was like pulling all the strings. Or he was like
The whole
fucking,
time, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
He's like, and they're like, he's not so fucking dumb after all.
He wanted them all to think he was an idiot, so they didn't
Yeah.
take him seriously.
I don't remember seeing very many movies like that though.
But we know it. We all know what it is, though.
Yeah.
I can't think of one now. It's like that.
I can't think, but you know what I mean, though.
I feel like I've seen maybe one, but I don't think it's very
Well, what-
it's common enough to be called a cliche, is it?
Probably
If
not.
it's not, really like.
Well, okay.
I do like.
I do. Maybe just along the lines of a like a derpy kung fu master. For instance, Karate Kid. You got fucking. It's like, oh. Do this.
Or like.
And then, but in the end, it's like, dude, he was really fucking actually training you, dude.
Or like my character in what was that? The Temple movie, where they capture the demons, the fucking like Buddhist teacher. And he's like also stealing all the fucking like food because he's.
Huh.
Remember?
I don't know what you're talking about now.
Chinese
Journey
movie.
to the West, I think it was. The Asian movie where they get
The fat guy?
Yeah.
Okay, he was a
Oh
fat
yeah,
guy.
yeah, okay, the
Yeah.
Chinese one, yeah. Okay.
Chinese
There's
fat
that
guy.
Chinese guy that's like teaching him the nursery rhymes or whatever the fuck as like the way to fight demons.
Mhm.
All right. Well, what do you hate then? Conversely, what is your most hated cliche?
There's several of those.
Well, pick one.
I can't think of any like right now, but it's one of those things like when I see them, like, oh god damn it, you know what I mean? But like I can't think.
Oh,
of
I know. Here's how when they stop the bomb at one.
Ah,
Yep,
fucking hate
that-
That's not a good
Or
one.
like when they
yeah.
stretch it out.
Like
oh shit, 5 seconds, but then it takes still got 3 minutes.
Yeah.
The movie
20 seconds.
Bullshit.
20 seconds is like 5 minutes of like.
Figure it out.
Fucking I don't know.
or when they're like talking for an extended amount of time. Like that's way more than the minute they have left.
Yeah, and again, when they mention a minute and they don't like follow up on the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that, dude.
What I do like though is when they have like two scenes going on at the same, and it seems like they're going on at the same time, but they're not. So like one scene ends right as the other one begins. So like for example with the bomb thing, it's like the people are rushing in like to go stop the bomb, and the guy's like trying to plan it, but like when you trying to plan it and get out, but like it shows like at the end of the scene like the guy is leaving during broad daylight, and then the people coming in are like going in at night, so it's like, oh, it's a completely different building at a different time type
Oh,
thing.
so you just if you watch
Yeah,
the
it's like
scenes and you-
misdirection.
But it
like-
looks like they're coming into the building with a bomb, but they're not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's like
well,
the
they did
time
that
doesn't
Batman
line up.
with fucking in Dark Knight when he had to go save either the fucking Two-Face or the girl he loved. He's like, well, I'm gonna go to this one, and it's like, oh look, he's there, because like he reacts to him being there, and he was in the wrong building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, there's a lot of cliches out there that are good and bad.
Yeah.
I also like the bad the bad guy
one
that
that I don't like
Yes.
burn yourself on a muffin.
is when it's like, oh, this isn't the main bad guy. The main bad guy is also actually the advisor. Like, it's always like that.
Oh, you're like his butler or some shit. Like the guy that you like. Oh, I wonder if it's this guy. Oh, it is. It's him.
I love
What a twist!
I
It's
love
not actually the president. It's his vice president.
Yeah.
I lo-
President had no idea the whole time.
What about the one where I love this one where you got like the fucking bad guy, and then he's the big bad of like the first season, but then he switches sides to your side after, like after you have the big conflict. He's like, he wanted the same things we wanted the whole time. We just didn't see eye to eye about that, but now we're fucking
I
tight.
like that when it's done well.
When was it done well?
Yeah,
Tell-
because
give me an
I think
example.
it's like
Cable
Cable
in
in Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2. He's done pretty well for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Deadpool 2. so-
Okay.
I was thinking like Lord Genome from
Oh,
Gurren Lagann.
fucking anime. Anime does it a lot.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah, I can't think. But you know.
It happens a lot in video games. Like there's a boss, and then he joins your party.
Especially Japanese video games. I don't know why they do that whole thing. It's like,
Well, one of the main reasons is because in Japanese video games there are a lot more party-based games,
That's true.
and
That's true,
like
yeah.
Western, it's usually just you alone, or like you and then some other guy.
so the
from
Western.
co-op.
I think it's also a Western versus Eastern kind of idealism too, because just from the West, you're usually more about yourself.
We were talking about this, not what fucking
Yeah.
like
And-
last week's shows.
And Asians tend to usually have more of a community for the better good outlook.
That's exactly the same subject we talked about.
Me and Charles talked about this like 2 weeks ago.
Excellent.
Look at that exactly.
All right. So I think that covers that question. How about Jacob Scott's next question?
What time are we at?
We are at 54 minutes. We're doing pretty good.
Okay. I'm blowing my mouth.
Filibuster. Filibuster.
Just gotta do 5 more minutes of
I show you how I
filibuster.
can figure this out.
We haven't. You know what? We haven't talked to Spencer in a while.
We're
Well,
not calling
it's
Spencer.
too
It's
late.
There's not enough time.
I'm not saying call him. I mean, like we call him after the podcast.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
And not for the part of the call.
Okay, I was like, a little late for a guest caller, Jake.
Oh.
It was just like one of those like 30 seconds, like, can you guess who sucked the cock? You're like,
Great.
Jake sucked the cock. Wow, good job, caller, and just hang up on his ass. Yeah, I don't know.
No, we haven't. I just saying we haven't called him.
Do you have a question? Because I can
He's
do my
filibustering.
yeah, I can do my question. He'll do this thing. I'm not filibustering, and here's why. But it's filibustering.
Yeah, exactly.
And here's why.
Exactly. And be, all right.
Let's
I'll-
veto this before it starts.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay. What is? Would you consider being cryogenically frozen to be waking up?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, how long?
100%.
How much later? If you had a time
How
frame.
does it matter?
Infinite?
Whatever technology allows it.
Right? Like, what do you mean? Fucking whatever. Who gives a shit?
Whenever.
I'm being cryogenically frozen. I don't give a fuck when I wake up. Wake me up whenever you wake me up. I'll find out when I get there.
This is quite a response. But I mean,
Do
okay.
it. Do
if
it right
you-
now. Let's go.
Okay. Well, what's an ideal time for you then?
I don't fucking know. It'll be in the future. I don't know what's gonna happen. I can't wait to see it though.
What are we talking? Like, you
Who
gotta give a
knows?
fucking. Okay, Charles. Charles, you certainly have more foresight than
The
this
answer
guy.
is
Yeah,
yes. The answer is yes all the way.
Space travel, at least like another colony on another
Well,
system.
You got some. Okay, we got some problems there. Well, what's your time period that you would think that would happen? In another system, is it in another galaxy, or
Another galaxy.
this would take many years?
I don't know if another galaxy, because the galaxy is pretty.
I mean, stars are
each
pretty
thing
far
there.
away as is.
Uh huh.
How long do you think that would take? Because I was reading something that in
Yeah, it's
10,000 years, humans of the same kind of base language wouldn't be able to communicate with each other because the language changes over time. Because it would be so different.
Yeah, but that's based on evidence that they've got now, and like, when you think about it, how much time is it actually going to take to develop the technology to do that?
I'm just saying that there'd be a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm. And it's
I
also
don't give a fuck.
it's predictive, and that's very, ambiguous and hard
Yeah.
to predict how.
But it is
change.
true that language does change over time. For instance, you look at Shakespeare's time, right? That was a couple hundred years ago, and they spoke way different than we did. And it'd be kind of hard to hold a conversation with someone from Shakespeare time.
Well, you've also got to remember that with globalization and the ubiquitousness of language, then there's going to be a standard of language that people are going to have, so that people from all over the world can
So,
still
is
communicate
that-
with each other, and that's likely going to be either English or
Is
Chinese.
that assuming that so you think that would you think that our language would prevail? You think English would prevail because it's looking like Chinese? I'm just stressing the point that if you're gonna wake up a decent amount of time down the human timeline,
And
you're gonna have problems communicating.
there's also going to be, you're going to have to remember that computers are going to get better, and one of the things that computers are going to be pretty good at, given enough time and with enough with enough technology and development focused towards it, is translating.
Translating, yeah.
So you could have, theoretically, a computer that could translate back to whatever you're in, because this, right now, there's a bunch of data that people are taking in about our language.
Yeah.
So that they could just transform it
Well,
into
what do
whatever
you-
language
what do you
that we're speaking
do-
today, back and forth between whatever the most common language is.
Well, what do you do when you arrive there? Because there's no way they're going to allow you the same freedoms. Because the thing is, if you were
Well,
to
it
wake up,
depends.
and
If
we're
you're
talking
gonna
way
be-
down the road.
If you're, if it's just you alone that's been cryogenically unfrozen, you might even end up a celebrity because, like, oh, look at this primitive guy who came back. From
Well,
way
you'd
back then.
basically be a caveman
Exactly.
to them, and the thing
But you
is,
communicate stuff.
yeah, but you would never be allowed
but,
your
like, even
freedoms.
if you've got like a crutch like that, people would want to see, like, oh man, they'd want to hear like what life was like back
Would you
then.
want to?
And-
I feel like it would kind of turn you more into a novelty. Would you want to live the rest of your life as a novelty?
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
What about you would be the only human in that time to die, because this is to say that they've developed immortality.
Mhm.
Okay with that
Would you be okay with that? Everyone else around you stays the same, highly advanced. And the thing is, maybe if it's, let's say, this is just a scenario that I come up. If it's a procedure from birth that they
Wasn't
never
there a
die.
movie about this that we watched?
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
I
Okay.
can't remember what it was, but yeah, I remember this movie plot.
But just would you be okay with that?
The last man
You would
died,
age?
or whatever
Yeah, I think so.
You okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
it was.
Yeah, even if I don't get to see immortality, I get to know that it was a thing that exists.
Well, it's going to exist at some point. I believe.
Well, I'm not sure about biological immortality.
Yeah, well, in some form or another, it's going to exist.
Uh-huh.
Just
And
like Jake
that's-
is immortal in our souls forever, Tiffany will live on forever. In our hearts and our minds.
Because I'm best.
Because you are not forgotten until the last person that remembers your name is dies, just forgets it. And since Tiffany will always be remembered, and we will tell those stories, she will be immortal. But, yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know if
let's
I would
talk about
want
what
to.
kind of immortality you think is going to happen.
I don't know, both biological and digital. Digital first, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But, it
You
depends.
think they'll find a way to stop aging, like on humans?
Either aging or be some sort of like robot thing or
Mm-hmm.
some way of growing stem cell shit. Makes you goddamn forever.
So you got to keep injecting stuff into you. So
There are just organ transplants, like, it's your routine kidney, 20-year transplants, some shit like that. Or like a new body. Or
What
they
about you, Jake?
digitize your mind and then, it'd be easy. They digitize your mind and then just have a clone template of you and plug your fucking mind in.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be pretty cool.
Take a little finagling to get the brain the same, like
Well, yeah.
prepped for your consciousness.
That's for the tech. That's for those future bitches, all right? That's not for us. It's not my job.
gotta
Fuck
keep
'em.
like an array of pickled brains.
Yeah.
So, Jake, you think it's gonna be possible, immortality?
Honestly, why not?
There's a lot of reasons why not, but
Yeah.
don't hump my bed. He filibusters. That's what he does.
Yeah.
And he's very like he's against. I do not filibuster, but he does.
Uh huh.
I never said I was against filibuster.
No, he'll say
Hey,
it. He'll
Jake,
give
the
you.
muffins are probably cool enough for you to eat another one.
I know.
You should go over and eat them.
I'm already laying here, though.
I'm not getting you a muffin. Okay, but
But yeah, definitely think that the technological route is the way to go to immortality. Like, if I had a choice of one or the other, I would definitely go though.
well, here's the thing too with immortality. I think I've talked to you about this before, but it's like if it's a digital version of you, it's not you. It's not the original you. It's a copy of you,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the original you.
Yeah.
Which in a way isn't the same immortality from the base template. It's more of a copy of immortality.
But that copy is immortal.
Yeah. Which is a twisted kind of immortality, which is because you got to sacrifice your own self to become immortal, a version of yourself.
Well, it's not quite a sacrifice if it doesn't have to be. Like, you don't have... It's not like you couldn't just make a copy of yourself and make that copy immortal while keeping your more immortal lifespan.
Well, you're gonna die.
Yes.
The version
but
of
it's
you-
not a sacrifice. It's because you would die either way. So
Well, it
it's not
depends.
a
I guess,
sacrifice in that
yeah,
perspective.
yeah. I was thinking of also, it's really hard to get at brain neurons when someone's alive.
Mm-hmm.
Just with current technology, you get in there and shit. Especially since if you map the brain, it's really, there's a lot of shit in there that seems like it'd be really kind of not very feasible unless you get in there. You know what I mean? Be a lot easier to
They can map the brain while you're alive.
well, not to the same detail that you can if you were to probably kill the person. That's with current ways of mapping the mind.
Well,
That's for future bitches.
Exactly.
Sorry,
It's
yeah.
for future bitches. Because you
Sure.
fucking science bitches couldn't
I
even
think
make
it
my
would be
friend more
worse
smarter.
to like kill someone and then take their brain because
What
you
about
need to
when
know
they're
how
dead?
The neurons connect and have
What about all the chemical imbalances that are in your mind that make you have different moods or different things like that? When you're uploaded into the computer, dopamine, would you have that as a whole simulation where you have different dopamine, serotonin, and let's say if you're uploaded into the computer, would you need to sleep? You know, would it it wouldn't be you anymore type deal, like depending on since the brain is a very delicate chemically based system, how do you simulate all those things as well as all the neurons and everything that are within the mind?
Yeah. See,
So
the simplest way to copy a human into the computer is just to go like system for system, 1-to-1 on everything. So they would exist like in the computer exactly as how they thought they existed in real life. Like that's the simplest
would
way
it
to
be
do
one
it.
of those things
But
where
if you start removing like their needed to sleep and stuff, that takes more tweaking.
that's future bitch shit right there. I'll tell you that much. Fuck that. Fuck this. Fuck that, man. I think you know what? I think we're probably the last generation that's gonna die.
I don't know about that.
Or at least last generation that should that's gonna live.
We might even be part of the generation that lives longer.
Well, we're gonna live longer just because health quality, medical advancements over time.
But I don't think that we're gonna completely figure out immortality by the time we die now.
But I think no, for next generation.
I don't know about that either. They're definitely gonna try for it, but
well,
I don't know if they will.
Here's the thing: even if they do, it's gonna be way out of our price range. It'll be the rich, the elite only, will get to live forever. At the beginning, that's fucking how it starts, boys.
Or could you see it like like they have the elite the way that it's done, and then they have the guys in the garages like, all right, so you gotta mix this chemical and this chemical. Let's dip them in the vat before.
What?
Yeah, like the bootleg immortality guys.
Oh, he's all shit. He's like, he's a little glitch, but he'll live forever.
Yeah, like people doing YouTube videos like. All right, I'm immortal and you can too. Just do this.
Well,
and
then you have a lot of fucking crackpots to be like, you gotta suck my dick and then you live forever. But
no, well, I think the way that it's gonna spread is gonna start with like the YouTube videos, and people are gonna be like, all right, enough of people fucking themselves.
Well,
up
then you get the corporations involved, which at this point are like incredible, like fucking just they can rule worlds, rule countries.
Mm-hmm.
So strong that they can fucking do basically blank check on anything, who will crack down on these people. Because if you look at like DMCA's and stuff for just audio and video, just shows and stuff, those are already they're pretty good at cracking on it. But it's especially intellectual property.
They can crack down on it, but it's always going to be there.
It will be, but it'll be a lot. It'll be a lot more dangerous. It'll be a lot more dangerous because this is immortality and the stakes are higher. Shit like that, and and immortality. If you're immortal,
well, the thing is, you got to remember that if it's immortality, people would save up for their entire lives to get it. So especially if it's a one-time payment thing, then yeah, you're gonna save your money for that.
What about that? Like it could be like indentured servitude if you think. Where you pledge yourself to working for the rest of your existence if you get to live forever.
Uh-huh.
That seems like shitty.
Mm-hmm. But because part of the hope...
Fucking work for the next 300... We can't even comprehend working that long.
I know, because we don't live that long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking every day is like, going to work.
And then you've got the rest of it.
Going to work.
Do whatever you want. I'd fucking take that.
That's the idea. Like what? It's like... What's the upper end limit
if
of people
we
can
lived
work
a lot
is like
longer,
50
then
years.
You wouldn't have to work nearly as much. Like you could spread out your working time.
Well, it depends on the kind of work.
Also, the population problem.
You know what the thing is?
That would
well, maybe we wouldn't
because
even have to work because if we're at that point, the technology is so advanced, we have to the technology to do that shit for us.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of technology.
Do you think? I think doctors are going to be obsolete soon. Well, not soon. Relatively soon, considering the medical advancements.
I don't think they're going to be completely obsolete.
Why wouldn't
because there's a lot of subjective things that that are difficult to get.
You fucking eat that muffin. Oh my god.
Because you can look at a person and say, yeah, he doesn't actually have a problem. He just thinks he has a problem. Like, what was it? You know.
Wouldn't you just... Here's my thought.
Because it's not something that you can just input into a computer, your symptoms, and then get the results back.
No, I'm
every
talking
time.
about like a biometrics. You stick a dude, you take the dude, you stick him in a fucking diagnostic box, and they run all the fucking scans. And this is probably going to be like, this is my vision of the future, but you know, like a fucking telephone booth, like you just walk into it, and then it'll just fucking scan you and diagnose you with whatever imbalance is, or in your mind, or whatever. It's like you have like a fracture or something. You go in there, and it'll just diagnose you, and then it'll be like, this is what we can do for you. Because the
I was
technology
thinking more
was
near
so
future thing.
Yeah, I'm talking like a couple hundred years down the line, maybe, or even probably sooner than that. If we, get to that point where we can just scan people and be like, just fucking give them this.
I don't think it would come to scanning. I think it would be something that's just naturally, like nanobots in your bloodstream, and then they just alert you.
Well, they're scanning you.
Yeah, but
I don't know whatever version.
I don't think you'd have to like go out and scan it. That it would be an automatic thing where like you'd get like, oh, there's a fracture here, and then
You know what else is gonna impede progress?
You've been issued these rations to like with
all that,
calcium.
with all this shit, you're gonna get a bunch of religious groups and sects and stuff that are like, let's not do this. This is wrong. It's against God.
I don't know if it's gonna go that far because like
Jake, stop fucking. What are you doing, Jake? He's messing with my leg. Oh, you're twisting my knee and it hurts.
Because religious groups might grow up if like that thing suddenly happened, but it's going to be a gradual change. You got to remember that.
Well, you're always going to have stalwart people that are refused to.
Yeah, sure.
To the
There's going to be
technology.
a few, but no religious group that wants to be long-standing is going to say, no, you got to have a worse life for yourself. You don't go to the doctor anymore because they do this.
Well, you totally have people that could do that. And not that it would be any significant amount of the population, but there would be people like that. I think it is 1 minute, 1 hour 12 minutes into this. I think it might be time. Jake is displaying his nipples.
Jake's
That
been
means-
slacking this episode.
Yeah,
He hasn't really done much at
He
all.
doesn't have much input. Plus, he didn't even do his other question. Did you do your other question? That's right. All right. So Jake needs to do 3 questions next time. And they have to be thoughtful, not on the fucking I'm going to eat a muffin filibuster moments. Anyway, speaking of Jake, want to do our outro?
Da-da-ba-da-ba-ba. We are the Triumvirate and we talk about random bullshit.
Oh, we forgot to mention how we doing on our instruments, our little projects.
Oh yeah.
Since that's something.
Yeah. Tell him about your violin.
I can kind of play the Twinkle Twinkle now.
He can play. It's weird. His violin's really shitty.
It's,
And
I think it's less the violin, it's more me, but I can kind of.
I think it's a package deal.
I think part of it is definitely the fact that I don't know where my fingers go. So I don't have.
Our
those
big problem is
stickers.
we don't know how to tighten that one string without it breaking.
Tuning is big.
I don't even need that fucking string for that Twinkle Twinkle down.
Yeah,
D-
but for, like,
no.
a lot of other violins.
Yeah, that's what it's like. We can't just fucking just play Twinkle Twinkle, man.
Well, no, I'm just saying that that's not why Twinkle Twinkle sounds weird.
Oh, you're working on that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm
How's-
saying that we don't need that.
Yeah.
string.
Well, so Jake's been working on it. He hasn't done it in a few days. We're probably gonna do it here, maybe even after this. We can call Spencer and then we can practice.
Yeah.
Anyway, so how have you been doing on your stress?
I played maybe like once after you guys did that. Because it's such a pain in the ass. I have to set up the place for the.
I've been working on it. I got to get my finger calluses back for the guitar because it hurts if you hold the notes in a certain way because they're fucking metal strings. So, yeah.
It's more a matter of practice for me than it is for.
All right, Jake. Now you need to say next time on the Triumvirate. Give us a lead out, and then I'll stop it.
Next time the Triumvirate,
Jake answers 3 questions.
maybe.
I mean, ask 3 questions.
We'll see what happens.
Jake will ask 3 questions.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba. Ba!